Assalamu alaikum. Today we will be discussing a new topic, that is Gauss-Seidel. Basically, it is same as Gauss-Jacobi method. There is a major difference. The major difference between these two topics, are of the updation of our values. Means when we had to find out the second or third iteration of x1, we had to use the previous values of x2 and x3. But when we have to find out the second or third or any iteration of x1, we will be using the updated values of x2 and x3. So let's look into our question. The question is here right now. Yes. So basically, Gauss-Seidel method is used to find out the solutions in a system of linear equation. And now, if we look at the question, so we have a question in which there are 3 equations given, and we have write down the coefficients in a matrix, and then the right hand side values in another matrix. What we are going to find out is the first iterative value of x1. To find out the first iterative value of x1, we have used our first equation. Now, what we are going to do is, we are going to put our x2 and our x3 as zeros, because right now we are taking our guess. Here we will write down 0, and here we are going to write down 0 in place of x3. So our first x1 is going to be 1.28. Now, to find out x2 and x3, here for x2, we have used our second equation. Now, in place of x1, we will write its updated value, which was 1.28. So this 1.28 is going to be placed here now. 1.28. Sorry. 1.28. And in place of x3, we are writing 0. So now our x2 will be 2.31. To find out x3, here we will write x1 as the updated x1, 1.28, and x2, the updated x2, that is 2.31. So here we are going to write 2.31. So we will get our x3 as, 2.91. Let's write it down in our table. Here x1 is 1.28, x3 is 2.91, and x2 is 2.31. To find out the second iterative value of x1, x2, and x3. For finding out the second iterative value of x1, here we will put the updated value of x2, that is 2.31, and updated value of x3, that is 2.91. So here we will get our x1 as 0.99. To find out x2, we have to write down the updated value of x1. See this carefully now. So here our x1 will be 0.99, because we are going to write the updated x1, that is now 0.99. So here we are going to write 0.99, and in place of our x3, we are going to write down 2.91. So we will get our new x2 as 2.006. For finding out x3, we have to write down the updated value of x1 and updated value of x2. So our updated x1 is 0.99 and our updated x2 is 2.006. So in place of our x2, we will write 2.006, and in place of our x1, we will write 0.99. 0.99. So now our x3 will be 3.0. Sorry, it will come here. So now our x3 will be 3.002. Let's write it in our table. So second iterative value of x1 is 0.99. x2 is 2.006 and x3 is 3.002. Let's find out the third iterative value for x1, x2, and x3. So here we have to write down the updated value of x2 and x3 in order to find our x1. The updated value of x2 and x3 are 2.006 and x3 is 3.002. Here now our x1 is 0.99. Here to find out x2, what we are going to do is we are going to write our updated x1, that is 0.99, and our updated x3, that is 3.002. So now our x2 is 1.99. To find out x3, we have to write down the updated values of x1 and x2. Here we are going to write 0.99, and here it's going to be 1.99, and it will become 3.003. Here we got our third iterative value also, which is 0.99. Here it is 3.003, and this is x2 is 1.99. Okay, now we will be looking at our question. So here I have taken the same values as we had in our question. I have named my Java program as Gauss Seidel method. What's happening here is that in a 2D array named coefficients, I have put these values in a 3x3 matrix, and each row is representing one equation. Then in a constant array, I have stored the values of the right hand side of the values which are present on the right hand side of our equations. Then in the array initial guess, I have given the initial values of our variables x1, x2, and x3. Then in the iteration variable, I have given 3. So I have set my iteration variable as 3. Then I have passed the Gauss-Seidel method. The parameters here are coefficients, constant, initial guess, and iterations, which are already defined above. Then in the private method, the n has stored the size of our 2D array. Then in the current solution array, we are initializing the values of our initial guess, and also we are using clone method to copy it. Then we have used our for loop, which will run until the number of iterations. So we have defined iterations as 3. So this loop will run for 3 times. Then this south line is showing that we will get our we will have the values of our iteration on our console. Now the nested loop will run over each equation in our system. The other nested loop will run over each variable in our equation. Comes the main part, which is current solution. So basically here what is happening is it will calculate the next value of the variable by dividing the updated sum by the coefficient of the variable in the current equation. And then we will print it. So basically this program is same as what we did in Gauss-Jacobi method. The major difference is here we have used current solution. So we are storing our updated values in current solutions. But when we were doing Gauss-Jacobi method, we used new solution array. And in that new solution, we were storing our new updated values. If I run this program, we will be getting the answers. See, I have got my answers here. Iteration 1 answers, then iteration 2 answers, and then iteration 3 answers.